Eu gostaria, então, de chamar novamente o professor David Kaufman, que, além da paixão que ele tem por BBL, depois ele começou a trabalhar muito com jogos. E quando eu o conheci, na realidade, a gente foi conversar sobre isso, sobre jogos, e ele trabalha muito com os jogos para a educação, e principalmente para a educação tecnológica com idosos no Canadá. Então, tanto no storytelling, na parte de contação de histórias com idosos, e também com a parte de jogos para idosos. Os jogos que ele vai apresentar aqui, a gente já traduziu para o português, e depois, se alguém tiver interesse, a gente pode conversar.
Okay. Thanks. So now I'm going to talk about something in games that's very, very practical. And I'm going to specifically talk about an application. Before I start, I'd like to start like this. Sorry, I won't do that. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about a specific project using games with older adults. Sometimes we call them seniors, but we don't use the term seniors too much because senior used to be 65 years old, it was clear, but now we don't know what a senior is. You know, on the professional golf tour, a senior is 50 years old. In some countries, retirement is 62. In some countries, there's no retirement. So, older adults. I'm going to talk about the Age Well National Centre of Excellence in Canada, just very briefly tell you what it is, and then get into what we did, our actual projects here, surveying older adults and a number of games that we developed. So the global population of the oldest old, that is people aged 80 and over, is expected to more than triple by 2050. We'll have 126 million to 446 million. By 2050, the life expectancy at birth is projected to surpass 80 years in most of these places in the world, including here in Latin America. This had been labeled by some, we call it the silver tsunami. A very negative term, isn't it? I prefer to call it the golden wave. Older adults face many challenges, but we need to find ways to maintain older adults' quality of life. We have identified in research a strong relationship between social engagement and cognitive health, and social engagement and quality of life in old age. So social engagement or social connectedness is very, very important, probably the most important factor. Okay, so what's this Age Well, NCE, which stands for National Centre of Excellence in Canada? It has a vision to harness the potential of technology to improve the lives of current and future generations of older adults in Canada. And there's the website if you want to look it up. It's quite nicely described. This is a big project for Canada. It's a $36 million project over 5 years. And it's now been renewed for another 3 years, etc. So we have one project. Out of the 8 projects in Age Well, ours is one piece, one little piece. And our project to examine the use of digital games to enhance seniors' quality of life. And by digital games, we mean games played face-to-face or online, on a computer, or a handheld device like a cell phone or tablet or a video game machine. So many seniors have a computer, right, or a tablet or a cell phone. This is quite common. And many seniors we know are playing digital games more and more. Why do they play digital games? Well, to keep their brains active, to have fun with your colleagues, friends, and family, or to play with grandchildren, or to compete with your children or your partner, to meet new people, many, many reasons for play. So we wanted, when this project started, to learn a little bit about our group, our population. So we did a survey of seniors. We surveyed 1,200 older adults across Canada, in senior centres, in shopping centres, in libraries, in all sorts of places. And we asked the question to start with, excuse me, sir, or madam, have you played a game of any kind in the last year? And if somebody said yes, say, okay, would you like to take 10 or 15 minutes to fill out our survey, and we'll give you a $5 gift certificate for coffee. And we had this, out of those people, we had 515 of these responses had, well, first of all, they filled out their talk about games, and the games, board games or puzzle games. But then there's a section that said, have you played a digital game or a video game in the last year? And 515 of them had played digital games. So they filled out that part of the survey. So then we said, had you played digital games in the past month? 84% of them said yes. And during the past month, how many days a week on average have you played? A third of them are playing 5 to 7 days a week, playing quite regularly. During the past month, when you played, how many hours a day do you play? And you could see 59% play an hour or less. So they usually, it's often on the cell phone, you play a simple little game for an hour or less. But when we asked, have you played social games online with others, only about a quarter said yes. So they're not getting the social interaction. So our project then was to use digital games to increase social interactions. So then we said, okay, what types of games do you play? And we said, what games have you played? And they listed all their games. And then we did a content analysis of those games and categorized them. And you'll see that almost half are puzzle games. And then another, almost a third, are card and board and tile games. Because older adults are a little different. What they do is they take games that they played when they were younger that are now on computer, like chess, bridge, card games, solitaire, bingo, parcheesi, games that we played on the boards, and they're now playing them online. And when we said, what are the greatest benefits reported on our survey? The number one was mental exercise. That's the main reason they play, as well as enjoyment is the next big one. So our next step said, let's do some interventions. Let's do some research and see the impact of these games. So we started with a Wii bowling tournament. The Wii is a device that basically recognizes your movement. The computer recognizes the movement. You play the game on the screen, and you make movements. And you hold this device like this. And if you want to do Wii bowling, you just do this. And you press the button. And you see on the screen, your ball goes down, and you're bowling. And this is what it looks like. You can see on the left, you have your little character, and the ball throws down. If you put in Wii bowling into Google, you'll see videos of this. So what we did is created a tournament. So we got 14 senior centers, seniors community centers, retirement centers, and we asked them to create a team of 3 or 4 participants. And we got 73 people participating. Strangely enough, 30% roughly were 85 years or older. And that's the group that we were trying to reach, the older adult. And we had a tournament for 8 weeks. So what we did in that tournament was we kept score. There was a website with a weekly score. Everybody bowled 2 lines or 2 games of bowling, had a score in their teams, etc. We found that playing this increased their social connectedness and reduced loneliness. They had increased interactions with other people, better social connectedness, conversations with their family and friends. Because every time it came time that week to do the bowling, everybody from their center, a lot of people from their center would come out and watch. And they're cheering for them, and they made a lot of friends. They met a lot of people they didn't know before. So we achieved our goal with that one. Okay, then I said, okay, let's develop some of our own games. So we developed an online bingo game, a solitaire game, SolitaireQuiz we call it, a tic-tac-toe game, TicTacQuiz, an escape room, and another game. I'll talk about these a little bit. So first of all, seniors report bingo as their most popular game. Do you play bingo here in this country? Everybody plays bingo? Yeah, okay. So we're using the game for older adults to learn about health promotion. So this game is what we call a frame game. And the way it works is the frame or the game is all programmed. The game is ready. So if you want to create a game yourself, you just create some questions and you pour those questions into a template and the game is ready to go. And this is what it looks like. So what happens is somebody calls, for example, here you see they're calling N43. And you look down, oh, there's N43. So on your touch screen, you touch N43. And here's what happens. A question pops up, a pop-up question. Like this one was about health and active living. Question, true or false, daily activities such as blah, blah, blah. So here's your question. It's a pop-up question. And if you get the question right, then you can cover that square. And if you can't get it right, you can't cover the square. And as soon as you get 5 in a row, you win the game and you get points. So we did this on a touch screen, etc. We choose nutrition and health learning content because it's important for them to know. Bingo because it's a popular game, etc. So we had 60 years and above, 50 participants from 6 residential homes. They're healthy, cognitively and physically, could use a computer. And we gave them each a computer that with a touch screen. They sat around the table together, 4 at a time, and they played the game. And we found at the end improvements in social connectedness. They learned a lot about nutrition and health, and they improved their attitude towards digital games because many seniors think video games are no good, it's not. But after this, they actually had a more positive attitude towards games. So then we developed a solitaire type game, a solitaire frame game. And you move the cards around on the solitaire screen. Sorry, this is what it looks like in a regular solitaire game. But the difference is that every 5 cards, you get a question with a pop-up screen. And if you answer that question, you get scores, and you can score, and also you get to draw some more cards, etc. And time is important in this game. So the game ends when all the cards are in the 4 piles. Has everybody played solitaire here, pretty much? In this country? Yeah, I think so. Okay. So you choose at the beginning. Do you want an easy solitaire game, or a standard, or a hard game? Or do you want to play with a time limit or not? You can choose. And there's what it looks like. And here's a pop-up question. This particular game was about your legal rights. Basically, as you prepare your will and your financial assets and everything as you near your period of death, you have some things to take care of, and this was a game about that. So you can see on the top right, $270, so that person's got, instead of points, we call it dollars, people like this, and they're collecting their score. And there's the feedback, exactly, inheritance is blah, 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 and you get direct feedback immediately. And here's your score at the end. A second frame game, a little bit like this, is tic-tac-toe. Everybody knows this game. We call it TicTacQuiz. But instead of 3x3, it's a 4x4 board. And to win, you have to get 4 zeros or 4 X's in a row. So what do? You click on one of the spaces, like that, and then a pop-up question comes. So you click on the space, pop-up question comes. If you can answer the question, you get to put your X or your O. If you can't answer the question, you leave it blank. So you can see like this. So if you had, for example, 3 X's in a row, and you clicked to win the game, a harder question would be given to you. Because when you put the questions into the game, you tag them as an easy question, a medium question, and a hard question. So the system has a little bit of intelligence built in. And that's that game. And finally, one that I really like, this is a great game. Do people know what an escape room is? Do you have escape rooms here? Right? You go into a room with other people, and you have puzzles to solve and everything to get out of the room. And you work in teams. So we created an escape room game online. And the way it works is 2 people play together. And what happens is, it's got 2 screens. So if I'm playing with you, like Norm, if you and I are playing Norm, you see one screen, I see another screen, and we enter a world of Alice in Wonderland, because most seniors in our country at least know that story. And we need to pair up using voice chat. So we get on the internet, we've got a voice chat built into the game, and we start talking on the internet. And one of us is the navigator, and one of us is moving inside a maze to begin. So it goes like this. I'm going to be in the maze. So on the left, you see, I have to navigate through this maze. And Norm is the navigator. He sees it from the top view. And that little star, he sees where I am. So Norm is saying to me, okay, David, keep going straight, keep going straight. Okay, now turn left, now turn right. And you're navigating me, and I'm walking through the maze because I can't see where I'm going. I just see the walls. So right away, we immediately are connecting and collaborating together. And after we get through the maze and get into the middle, where do you think we're going to go? Well, we go into a room that looks like this. And at least that's what it looks like, for example, to me. But to Norm, it looks like, to Norm, it looks like that. So you see the top view, and I see the inside view. So there's 3 rooms to go. There's 3 rooms. Once you escape one room, you go into another and another one. But in each room, we each see a different view. And the problem is that neither of us has enough information to solve the puzzle. The only way to solve the puzzle is to talk to one another. You tell me what you see in your room, I'll tell you what I see in my room, and we work it out together. So for example, this particular challenge is we have to light up the balls there in the right order. And then once we've done that, there's some other clues that we have to do. So it's a very collaborative game. And then finally, this other game, which unfortunately didn't go very far. We worked with the Art Institute of Vancouver. They have a game development program. So all the students are doing a master's degree in game design. So we got a group of them together as in teams, and we got 6 older adults, 6 seniors, to work with us. And we did a user-centered design approach. We'd say, here's the concept for the game. We got feedback from the seniors. We talked about it a little bit. And we developed actually 6 games together with the teams in that course. And this is one of the games. It's called Dig It. It's an archaeology game. So what you do is you take your tablet, and on your tablet you have a tool, but actually your finger, and you go like this, you're just rubbing, as if you were digging in a real archaeology site. You're digging, and you're moving away the sand. And as you move away the sand, you can see the objects appear, and you find these artifacts. Then you take an artifact, and you bring it to your museum on the right, and you place it on one of the pedestals. And then you talk about the artifact, you learn about the artifact and what it's about and its history, etc., etc. So it was a great game. We wanted to go further with it. And after the students developed the prototype, we said, we want the team to stay together, and we had some research money, we'll give you some money, and we'll develop this game further. And they didn't want to do that. Why do you think they didn't want to do that? Because they all got jobs. The artist got a job here, the programmer got a job here, and they went to work immediately, because when you graduate from a game design program in Vancouver, you get employment immediately. And they were gone. But it was a fun game. It was a good game. The adults really liked the game. So that's it. So basically, the research results, when we did it, is they enjoyed playing the game in pairs. The interaction was easy. They had a literary theme. They had crossword puzzles in one of the rooms. And nearly all the players would play the game again. The only challenge was the controller, to be able to navigate and all of that. We had to play around with that. At first it was too difficult. There were 2 buttons, and we made 1 button. We had to play with that. So the conclusion we have from this is technology has great potential to improve older adults' quality of life, to provide social, emotional, and cognitive benefits. But there's many other ways, as you know, that older adults use technology, like email, Skyping, Google, online education, online banking, online shopping, word processing, photo editing. We see more and more of these applications being used by older adults. So digital games seems like a natural addition to that, because it's an enjoyable and engaging and a deep way for older adults to use technology. So digital games can be played anywhere, as you can see. And thanks to the Age Well National Center of Excellence and the Social Science and Humanities Research Council for funding this project. And that's it for me. Thank you.